Are you finding that the cuddly pets in your life transform in springtime into snarly jungle cats or bad-tempered werewolves? Or maybe you're dealing with other springtime ailments like spring allergies or maybe some hormonal issues. There is one simple and effective acupressure point that can change all that, and quickly, so that the pets in your life that have those bad attitudes can transform back into the snugglebugs that you love. Now, if this point sounds like something you might be interested in, something that could really help the animals in your life, be sure to download the PDF that's described and linked in the description box, because it has tons of additional resources beyond what we share with you in this video. But in this video, we're going to show you all about how to find the point and how to activate it. When spring is in the air, the wood element of classical East Asian medicine is an energy that surges forward, and all of us can feel it, including your animals. And your animals, in their response, may kind of be showing you certain symptoms and behaviors that are related to that wood element when it's a little bit out of balance. So one thing that you might be seeing, for example, is kind of overall body tension, and that can show up in the muscles, and you can also see it showing up in ligament and tendon injuries, again because there is that tension throughout the body and the movement isn't quite so smooth. You may also see issues around spring allergies, especially in the eyes, like red itchy eyes that the dog is kind of working at all the time. Another thing that you might see is hormonal issues, especially around cycling things. So if your cat or your dog is coming into heat and you're seeing some imbalances or some behavior around that isn't really what you'd like to see, this is something that could be related to the wood element. On the behavioral front, you might also see this in a rise of emotional tension. So not only that physical tension that we talked about, but also an emotional tension. And that might show up as impatience or a short temper, frustration, even outright aggression. So if you're dealing with that kind of snarly cat or growly dog at this time of spring, it's really time for the best acupressure point for the wood element that there is. This point is dynamic balance, also called liver 3. And this point has been used for centuries for all of these conditions and a lot more. Just one thing, make sure you understand that this point is not for pregnant animals. So if your animal is pregnant or might be pregnant, just know you should just skip it for now. It's not for those animals. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about this point so you can see how it can help the animals in your care with all of the conditions that we've just been talking about. I'm going to show you how to find the point and some tips about how to activate it. Before we dive in and see exactly where that point lies, there's just a couple quick things that we need to establish just to keep you safe and to keep that animal happy and really receptive to all of this acupressure work. And that is that this point, dynamic balance or liver 3, can be reactive to the touch. You can kind of think of this point as being kind of like a traffic jam. It's a place where the energy in the body can pool and kind of back up. And when you have that backup, there can actually be some tension or even a little bit of pain when you press the point. Now, for those of you working on horses, this is kind of more likely to happen. It doesn't happen quite as much with the dogs and the cats. But it's still good to know that if you initially touch the point and you're touching into that tension, it might feel reactive. You might see even a sharp response from the dog or the cat. And that can kind of disturb that sense of connection and relaxation and consent that you're trying to have between the two of you. And I want you to be able to avoid that. So because this point does release that tension, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do the point. It absolutely means that the body actually probably needs it more than your average cat or dog. But let's show you a way to go in that make sure that everybody stays happy and feeling connected. So if you have an animal who is really showing kind of strong signs of impatience or short temper, or again, even aggression, or maybe has kind of a more pronounced show of all of those physical signs that we talked about, just know that this is an animal who you want to go in really softly and gently. There is zero need to press on this point hard or strong. Going in gently and calmly allows you to kind of see what that response is going to be. And if the animal starts responding, you know, okay, take it easy, go in slow. There's one even extra tip that I would give you. If your dog or cat is so reactive at this point that they really don't want touch there, even feather light touch, no problem. You can actually even use what we call the no pressure acupressure method, and that is to just actually hold your hand above the point. Now, there's more to the method than that, and you can always check that out in our no pressure acupressure course, but kind of the short story is you can hold your hand over the point, and I'll tell you where it is pretty soon, and that will allow you to activate all of the good stuff from this point without activating that response that we don't want, which again is sometimes a little uncomfortable to animals the first couple of times. After that, usually pets come to love this point and even seek it out because they know it makes them feel better. And the last kind of common sense caution that we want to add to your list is just to remind you, like I said before, it's really important if your animal is pregnant or might be pregnant, you definitely want to skip this point during that time. Just leave that for your vets. You can always come back to this point after the birth of those babies. Liver 3 lies right here on the lower hind leg of cats and dogs. It sits below the ankle joint, right here on the front of the leg above the paw joint. This here is the paw, and the paw joint, that's the metatarsophalangeal joint, and the point is up here over the metatarsal bones right beneath the ankle joint. Again, you have the ankle joint, the metatarsal bones, and the paw, and the point is there between the metatarsal bones. So what you need to do to find liver 3 is to place your thumb on the side of the leg that's pointing up here, and that's the inside surface of the leg, and then just slip your finger over that first bone, the inside bone, into that tiny little groove between the first and the second bone. The groove is not big and wide. It's a very small space, especially if you're dealing with a small animal like a cat or a toy-sized dog. So use feather light pressure so that you can feel for it, and your finger's going to drop right into that little groove between the bones. Now that you've found liver 3 or dynamic balance, how do you activate it? Well, it couldn't be simpler. Really, all you have to do once you locate the point on your pet's foot there is just rest a fingertip or maybe a couple fingertips on the point and that region very, very gently. As you're resting those fingers there, make sure you're doing nice, deep breaths so you're staying calm and really encouraging your pet to kind of release and relax into the little session that you're doing together. You can stay on the point anywhere from maybe 10 to maybe 60 seconds. If you want to hang out there longer and the pet's happy, you're welcome to do that. Just make sure you leave a little time to work on the other side if the pet is open to it. Now, the other question is how often do you do the point? Well, you really can do it every day if you and your pet enjoy it. Remember, it's just taking a couple of minutes, so it's kind of easy to just squeeze it into the rest of your day, especially if you're getting really good results from it. But you can also do it just like 2 or 3 times a week and still get really great results. So don't hesitate to do it less than every day, because you'll still find it very effective for all of the things that we talked about. Now, before you go, remember there are tons more tips and photos in that free PDF. You just want to drop down into the description box and you'll get the link for that. And remember also that there is all the info for this same point on horses as well as small animals. The other thing that I want to say is that this is one of the biggest points on the body. So if you're getting good results, it doesn't surprise me at all. It's good for so many things. It will really enhance your pet's entire vitality. So tell me, before you go down into the comments and tell me, what will you be using this point for? Are you going to be using it with a cat with kind of a nasty attitude, or maybe a dog that is dealing with a case of red scratchy eyes from spring allergies? I'd love to know how you're using it and how it's working.